Hey, how's it going, you guys? This is Bree Noble from the Female Entrepreneur Musician. And I am here today on our second day of 2017 to give you ladies some concrete help with planning for the next year. Now that we're truly into 2017, I want to make sure that you guys have the best year ever. And so I went to a planning session for about 2 days at the end of 2016. And I did some really great exercises in that planning session with the group that I really want to bring to you guys because I think it's going to help you put to bed everything that happened last year, whether it was good or bad, and really start off this year with a bang as far as being focused, as far as being goal setting, goal oriented, on a trajectory to get where you want to go instead of just kind of floundering around in the weeds. So I've got an exercise for you, and I want you to take out a piece of paper. We are going to do a quick review of 2016 for you and your musician business. Now, on that piece of paper, I want you to write across the top in 3 columns, I want you to write wins, why, and lessons. And then on the back, I want you to write losses, why, and lessons. And what we're going to do with this paper is we are going to review our wins and losses for 2016. And this is going to really help us see, because I think so many times we have so many great things that happen, but we're focused on the negative, or we just kind of go, oh, that's cool. We celebrate for a second, and we don't realize the lesson that we learned about why it's a win, why it was important for us, and how we can keep doing that more in the future. And by that same token, on the flip side, we have things that happen that don't go so well, and we don't want to face that. We want to bury it. We don't want to think about it. We just want to move on to something else. And we forget that there are so many great lessons that we can learn and really apply those to turn these things around into wins the next time we do them. So that's why we're doing this exercise. So I want to give you a few examples of the way I filled out my wins and losses sheet. So a few wins that I had last year in 2016. One big one for me was that I hit my 500th episode on the Women of Substance Music podcast. And why that was a win for me, truthfully, it just proved that I could be consistent in doing something for 500 freaking episodes. I mean, we're talking about every day, every weekday, for over 2 years to get to 500 episodes. So that, that's, okay, maybe it's not over 2 years. It's close. It's maybe almost 2 years, but we've hit 2 years now. So that just shows me that I still love what I'm doing. I'm dedicated to it, and I can go out there and say, yes, I have done this, I have built this thing, and be proud of it. So, and I'm looking up at my whiteboard here because I wrote some of these down so I wouldn't forget what they are. So another thing that I did this year was I started doing a lot more Facebook Live like I'm doing now. And that was a real win for me because I absolutely do not like being on video. So I needed to kind of conquer a fear there in being on video. And I know this is something that artists that I work with, it's hard for them as well, especially going live, because a lot of us musicians were perfectionists. And so I knew that in order to help the musicians that I work with this, I needed to conquer this myself. And so that is why that's a win for me this year. Maybe, let's do one other win that I had this year. I started a free group to bring together female independent musicians. And that group has grown to almost 1,400 now, which is exciting since I just started it in July. And why that's a win is because it's just modeling what I believe is what helps us all succeed as musicians, working together, especially as independent musicians, kind of harnessing the power of that group effort, working together, all boats rise with the tide, that kind of thing. And that is how I really got my start of really being successful and being able to put all these pieces together was when I got into a group like this and was able to, learn from other people and network and just help each other. And, the whole mastermind thing that's been so important for me in my business of like, several minds together are so much more powerful than them separately. So that's why that's a win for me. And, I'm kind of skipping over the lessons, but like lessons that I learned from that is it is important for me to go with my gut and do something, maybe even if it's going to take a little bit more resources. I now have a community manager who helps me in that group because it's a lot to manage, along with my paid group for the Female Musician Academy. So, I needed to put more resources into that, but it's totally paid off. So the lesson is that when I see something that I think is going to help people, it's worth it to put some extra effort and some extra resources into that, because it will pay off in the long run, because many of those people that are in that group, the free group, have now become part of my membership this year in the Female Musician Academy. So let's turn the paper over and do a couple of losses. For me, the biggest loss this year has been exercise and health-wise. Because I've been growing my business like crazy in 2016, I've been very focused on that. And the first thing to fall by the wayside has been my exercise plan, my eating habits, all of that. I mean, it's not like I've gone crazy, but I'm not where I want to be. I'm not, at the weight I want to be. I'm not as strong as I want to be. I'm not as active as I want to be. And so, I encourage you, when you do this exercise, to not just look at your musician business, but your whole entire life, because it really does all work together. There's a synergy. If you, if your health or your personal life is not in order, it's pretty hard for your business to also succeed. And although I grew a lot this year, I feel like had I been able to balance that better, I could have grown my business even more. So, that is my lesson, is that I think in order to, and my lesson is that when I do exercise, because I have been back out there over the past few days, I get so much clarity and so much focus when I'm out there exercising that it adds time to my day, because when I get back to business, I'm super focused. So that's the lesson that I learned about that. One other thing I'll share with you as far as losses this year is I ended up going to twice a month doing my podcast on the Female Entrepreneur Musician. And I was really bummed about that, because I love bringing you guys great interviews. I love teaching, and that's why I love the podcast. I know, I've gotten so many emails from people that love the show and have learned, and I've gotten testimonials from people that have taken what they've learned on the show and like had an amazing crowdfunding campaign or built their fan base or sold their albums, all that stuff. I love doing that. So it was a bummer for me, and that's why it's a loss, but I did need to do it. Things were just getting so busy and out of control that I wanted to make sure that when I was doing it, I was doing a good job at it. So that's why I pulled back. So what I did learn from this, and what I'm going to be applying in 2017, and I hope you guys will see something like this in your business and be able to apply it to kind of change your strategy so you can turn this loss into a win, is that I'm going to be doing more things like this, where I'm doing a Facebook Live, and I'm going to be changing that really easily into pulling out the audio and making it into a podcast. And so if people want to watch me on Facebook Live, they can. If they want to listen on the podcast, they can. And that will allow me to have something coming out every single week on the Female Entrepreneur Musician, because I want that to be a go-to resource for you guys. And I don't want people going, well, she used to release every Friday and now it's every other Friday, and I guess I don't know exactly when she's going to release. I want them to know that there will be something for them every Friday on the show. So I'm making this proclamation. I hope I can live up to it in 2017, but that is my goal. So now that we have this, and mine had like a whole bunch on each side of the paper, and you really read it over, taken it in. You can take a picture of it if you want, because of what's coming next. But really take all of that in, really remember all the feelings that go along with those things. And then what I want you to do is I want you to take out a match and I want you to burn that sucker. I want you to just completely destroy it and do this in a safe way, obviously. You know, I went outside and did this, but I want you to feel the feeling of that thing just going up into flames and saying, you know, that was last year. Now I'm going to start fresh. And while you're burning it, you can say something to yourself like, you know, that is all I'm going to get from those experiences. And I'm going to start fresh now. These things are complete. I'm going to learn all that I can from those things. And I'm going to start new in 2017. So it's just kind of a fun, experiential kind of exercise that will help you feel like you are now really starting over and that you've, you know, kind of branded yourself with those experiences, burned them into your conscience, but you're not going to be living by those experiences anymore because they are gone. So once you do that, then I want you to ponder this question, and it might take you a while to answer it. So I want you to right now to just be thinking about this because I'm trying to prepare you for what we're going to be doing on, you know, the Female Entrepreneur Musician and some of the other trainings that I'm doing this year, in that we're going to be starting out with your core values and your goal setting and your planning and all that stuff that I know you guys really want to do but have not been able to get your mind around it. I know it took me a while to get my mind around the best way for me to actually have a system where I can execute on all the things that I want to do in my musician business. So I'm getting you prepared by asking you this question. So say we are meeting 12 months from now, January 2nd, 2018. I want you to think about what you would say to me if I asked you, so what was your year like in 2017? I want you to think about, you know, the feelings that would go along with that, the experiences that you would have had in 2017, the wins that you could be excited to tell me about in 2017. That is the way I want you to approach this, and start thinking about that. If something comes to you, if you're excited about, you know, any of the things that you want to manifest in 2017 and you want to be able to tell me in our conversation on January 2nd, 2018 that happened, I want you to post those underneath this video, or you know, send me an email at Bree, B-R-E-E, at femmusician.com and let me know about those. I would love to know what you guys are planning and hoping for. And I don't even like to use the word hope because I believe that, you know, hope without a plan is just a dream, whereas hope with a plan is actually going to happen. So I don't want you to think about it as hoping. I want you to think about it as planning and executing for 2017. I want you to let me know what those things are. How will you answer that question? Then I pose it to you in January 2nd, 2018. What will your year have looked like? What will you have made happen for your musician business in 2017? I hope this exercise has been helpful for you. I'd love to hear all about your experience with writing all this stuff down and the fun of burning it and the way that made you feel. And, you know, just look for a ton more training in 2017 on how to get you guys to become real business owners of your musician business, how to really take the reins, how to act like more like entrepreneurs than the traditional musician mindset, because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about equipping you and empowering you with the powers of business within your musician business. So I love to hear what's going on with you guys. Keep in touch. You can always email me at Bree@femmusician.com, and I'll see you in the next one.